The Los Indios Bird Sanctuary is located on Juventud Island in southwestern Cuba. Among other species, it is home to a magnificent bird threatened with extinction, the Cuban crane. Males and females are faithful to each other and live together throughout their entire lives without ever separating. My name is Fidel. My mission is to travel through the sanctuary to observe bird behavior. It's spring, the nesting period. This palm tree's rounded trunk in the shape of an urn is an ideal nesting place for the Cuban Amazon parrot. As soon as the bird leaves, I take advantage of this time to see if the little ones have been born and how they're doing. In the past, the population of Cuban Amazon parrots had been greatly reduced by poaching, predators, and damage to their habitat. Thanks to our efforts, their numbers have doubled here at Los Indios in the last 10 years. But they are still endangered. To speed up the reproductive process, artificial nests have been created on the reserve. The parrot seems to be in perfect health. The eggs will hatch in a few days. I make sure to close the entrance to the nest to protect it against eagles and snakes, both very dangerous predators. I live a few kilometers from the reserve in the village of La Descubierta. I often go fishing with my friend José, who works with me. I gained a deep respect for nature in the past when I was a peasant, and I have a real passion for the crane, the largest bird in the Caribbean. I became interested in watching this bird as soon as I saw it. It was really a discovery for me. We don't know much about it or its behavior. Since I like the country and animals, I soon became very attached to the crane. My job is a difficult one, and I have to make many sacrifices, but I don't mind, because I really like it. My first job with these birds is to spot their nests. Cranes mate once a year. Later, the males and females take turns sitting on the eggs for 4 to 5 hours. If you see one, you know that the other is not very far away. I inform José that I've just located the male.
Voy a caminar en dirección a donde están la grulla. A ver si encuentro el pichón que ellas se están alejando y dejan
His
el
mate
pichón
has
aquí.
already given birth to a little one a few
Y lo
days
voy
ago.
buscando, ¿ok?
We're going to try and find the female to see if another one has been born.
Mira, yo estoy atravesando el palmar, estoy atravesando el palmar que está al frente tuyo. Si tú me ves,
It rains less and less in this region. We have to keep the ponds going so that the cranes can drink from them. Near the watering area, we find some fresh tracks. But it's hard to tell in which direction the birds went. To find them quickly, most Los Indios cranes are tagged and equipped with radio transmitters.
Voy adelante con la 013.
Adelante.
342.
Thanks to our high-precision equipment, we can capture their signal from our observation post.
312. Hacia mi izquierdo. ¿Cuál es? La 053.
José and I gather precious information on the presence and the number of birds, in liaison with the main office located in the center of the reserve. Finally, I managed to spot a nest. To protect it from predators, the cranes hide their nest behind some thick vegetation. Incubation lasts for 30 days. While the male or the female is sitting on the eggs, the other surveys the area and looks for food. Cuban cranes are omnivorous and feed mainly on insects, small snakes, grains, and fruit. José and I have to be extremely careful so as not to disturb the birds. If they sense our presence, they could fly away and abandon their nest. The Cuban crane is a subspecies of the Canadian crane. Contrary to his North American cousin, he doesn't migrate and he doesn't gather in flocks in predictable areas. Once they've formed a couple, these birds live hidden in the savannah. José does the marking for the scientists in Havana. They will study the data to see if the reserve has more nests than the previous year. The Cuban crane makes an almost circular nest directly on the ground with the help of pine cones, pieces of wood, and shrub leaves from the savannah. Contrary to other cranes, it uses dry ground. It lays 1 or 2 eggs. Usually, only one baby will survive. José has observed that the unhatched babies are dead. Although this sad discovery is part of daily life at Los Indios, it always affects us very deeply. It's as if we've just lost a part of ourselves. There are happy occasions, too. I'm going out to see one of the first fledglings to be born this year. After hatching, the cranes stay close to the nest for about 10 days. Once we've spotted either the male or the female, it's easy to find the youngsters. Afterwards, it becomes more complicated since the babies have to separate from their parents. I wait patiently for the crane to leave the nest before I approach it. The little one is just a few days old and still very fragile, but in good health. I can't stay in the area for too long, since if the parents detect my odor, they won't come back to the nest. And the little one cannot survive on its own. Our research has taught us a lot about the Cuban crane, although there are still lots of mysteries. We think about them day and night. At home, I sometimes forget household chores. I can only think about my mission, about something I should have noted down, or a nest I have to visit again. I explained to my wife, for example, that tomorrow I'm going to this area to see a newborn or to take a head count. I can't stop talking about cranes. Finally, she sighs and says, "What about us? Are you ever going to talk about us?" The crane project began a little over a year ago. Ever since, we spend all our time working. We leave early in the morning and come home late at night. Before going home, I often stop at José's house at the edge of the reserve. Around a glass of rum, we discuss the work we've accomplished or the work to come, while Fidel Castro makes his nightly televised speech. At present, there are about 20 of us working on the Cuban crane project. Since we're all from the region, it's easier for us to communicate with local farmers and convince them to preserve the nesting zones. Cuban children are also aware of the need to defend the environment. At school, they learn a lot about endangered species. They realize that protecting nature is essential to man's survival. Once a month, a specialist from Havana, known throughout the world, comes to visit Los Indios. I have great respect for her work, and I admire her vast knowledge.
My name is Xiomara Galvez Aguilera. I'm a professional ornithologist, and I have devoted myself to the Cuban crane for almost 10 years. The enthusiasm demonstrated by Fidel and his men is as strong as ever, even if their mission is often thankless. At first I thought it would be hard for me to gain respect because I was a woman, but I was mistaken. Today I know I can always count on their devotion, since we share the same love for birds. At present, there are 11 crane colonies in the Cuban archipelago. Nevertheless, the species is in danger of extinction. This bird can only raise its young in natural savanna areas. Because of the drying up of land and the creation of artificial pastures, nesting zones have greatly decreased. As usual, Fidel is the first to welcome me in the central office of the reserve. I ask him about the work he and his team have done. I note the new nests and the first youngsters to be born. At Los Indios, we have excellent equipment, thanks to the ICF, the International Crane Protection Foundation. Created in the United States in 1973, its mission is to study and preserve this bird and its habitat throughout the world. José is present in the field as I record the data.
Fidel para José. Sí. Hacemos izquierdo, 172.
He sends us information on the location of nests.
053. Hacemos derecho, 222.
Oye, dime el radio.
05.
I record them accurately on the map. In this way, we can very quickly determine if their numbers have increased.
160. Hacemos izquierdo, 120. Hora, 9:15.
Okay.
Corre 39. 05. Hacemos derecho, 50.
Our project is an ambitious one, but the results are there. We know the Cuban crane better and better, its behavior, its way of life, and of reproducing.
¿De qué torre informa?
We therefore hope to create ideal conditions to help the species to perpetuate itself.
Máximo izquierdo, 20.
Ok.
La hora 9:15.
Ok, recibido. No es todo el mundo que puede encontrar un trabajo que se sienta satisfecho con todo el
Not
trabajo.
everyone is lucky enough to have a job he really likes.
Trabajo que siente amor por él, que no importa sacrificio para trabajar, pues
When you like what you do, you don't mind devoting your days and your nights to it.
ningún problema para trabajar. Lo mismo trabaja de noche, de día. Con poca
Sometimes we
comida,
earn
con
only
mucho
enough
tiempo,
for food.
porque le
Sometimes
gusta
a lot more. It doesn't matter. When you're happy in your work, it's like a game or a holiday.
Una fiesta, es así.
I go through the savannah constantly, searching for newborn babies. If the crane detects a suspicious presence, it will try to fool the intruder with loud noises to attract his attention and keep him far from the nest. But I know this tactic very well now. I know that the youngster is at the opposite end of the area from which the crane has led me.
Este polluelo nació el día 19.
This youngster was born just a few days ago. There were two of them, but the other one must have drowned crossing the river because of the current.
Mantienen una conducta cuando hay posible depredadores o peligro.
To defend their youngster against predators, the cranes spread their wings wide. The baby hides until the danger has passed.
Por lo que así pueden escapar de depredadores. Este color lo protege.
The color of its down blends in with the grass and protects it against snakes, especially the very dangerous Cuban boa.
Porque puede recoger olor no.
I don't keep it in my hand for long. If its parents sense my odor on the baby, they could abandon it.
Para que los padres lo recojan. Vamos.
The father and the mother are coming back to their infant.
Está en la copa del pino.
From a distance, I see a terrible danger, an eagle. Fortunately, it doesn't seem to have spotted its prey. I have to get away quickly so that the two adults can recover their infant in time.
Hasta que salgan, entonces después vienen volando y recogen el pichón.
I'm happy because the reserve has more nests this year. But there's still much to do if future generations are to see Cuba's largest bird gliding through the sky.